I'm ready. Okay. All right. So, my name is Jessica Johnson. Obviously, I'm an evening student here at Columbia College, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about the socioeconomic status of students and how it affects their learning in the classroom. So, did you guys know that 68% of students qualify for free lunch? And this is in South Carolina, by the way. I got all of my statistics for South Carolina. Poverty is more influential than that gestational exposure to cocaine. It's pretty crazy, isn't it, guys? It is. Nod your heads. Children living in poverty are more likely to be labeled as problem students. I'm sure you guys have seen people in the classroom and you're like, what the heck's wrong with that kid? And you never know where that kid's coming from or what kind of background he's coming from or he or she is coming from. Children living in poverty are more likely to be absent, truant, or drop out of school altogether. And more than half of South Carolina schools have 70% or more students living in poverty. To me, that's insane. And that's where we as teachers have to come in and play the role to try to make sure they do get that effective learning and make sure that they are understanding and that they are getting the best out of the education that we can provide to them. So, for your teacher, knowing your students is the vital aspect in any classroom. And when I say know your students, I mean know your students. Know their background, not like get up all up in their business, but like, know their background, kind of get to know their family. Because when you do that, you're more likely to be an effective teacher and you're more likely to know and understand how to work with that child and what will work for them in different ways. So to sum that all up, the socioeconomic status, the definition of it is an economic and sociological combined total measure of a person's work experience and of an individual's, I know it's a little weird, the specific one that I will be discussing, or that's wrong because that's the wrong part, sorry. Okay, socioeconomic status can impact a child's learning tremendously. Whether they have eaten enough, they have the right materials, or the way their peers look at them can really affect them as individuals and students. The first thing that I'm going to be talking about is how stress plays a really big factor on these low socioeconomic students. Everyone deals with stress, many in different ways, as you guys can see me right now. When it comes in terms of stress to socioeconomic status, you're thinking about what these children are having to deal with at home. Say, for example, if their parents are working late jobs, or if they're even having to work a second job just to help support their families, or even if they have younger siblings and they're having to watch their siblings and not get any sleep. And that leads me to the next thing, which is sleep. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm running on about an hour of sleep because I was really nervous. But sleep is very, very important and can also lead to stress, obviously. They're affected by their surroundings, which that's talking about their parents. If a student sees their parents and sees that they're upset, they're obviously going to wonder what's wrong, and they're going to want to know, hey, why are you upset? And then they're going to be upset because they don't know what to do to help their parents, especially in financial situations. If they are wondering why their lights got cut off or why their water got cut off, and then they have to go to school and then they're not smelling all that great, or they didn't get their homework finished because the teacher may have assigned something that has to do online, that's just something that teachers are going to have to work with, and we'll have to work around that. The next thing is going to be food. Obviously, food is very important. It gives you energy and nutrition, and it helps you to remain focused and stay on task if you're more likely to have more food in your system. A lot of these socioeconomic students suffer from malnutrition, which can give you low energy, fatigue, problems paying attention, and poor immune systems. And when you can't pay attention, you're just not getting very much done in the classroom. So, and then poor immune systems, you're not able to attend class as much as you would like. So you gotta have some food so you can get that stuff and overcome it. And then the third one is peers. I know that I've seen this a lot when it comes to peers. Your peers are who are like, I'm trying to think of the word, are like how the society sees you. And then a lot of people, you're not supposed to take other people's opinions and put it against yourself, but you do. It's just a known factor. You do look at the way people treat you and the way people look at you. So say, for example, if a child comes in with ragged clothes or they don't have the materials that they need, teachers, they need to be able to understand that and really get to the bottom of why they are like that and what's going on at home and what they can do to help. So, the first one that we're going to be talking about as far as the remediation is the stress one. And the first one that I came up with was to work hand in hand with your school guidance counselor. I know students in our class, they often visit the guidance counselor because special needs students don't always have the right materials. Sorry.
You're good.
They don't always have the right materials. Oh, I'm gonna freak out.
No, you're good.
Take a deep breath. Look around.
You are good.
You're
These are
good.
all people who are here that believe in you. Deep breath. You're good. You know this. You've been working on it for weeks now. You got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you're gonna work hand in hand with your guidance counselor to help mediate that situation. Say if you don't always know what to do, you always have that second hand. And the same with the administration staff. Like we have our administration staff, we're very close in it with our class because sometimes we don't know what to do. So they come in and they can easily help us. The second one that I came up with was to have materials on hand, such as pencils and paper and notebooks. And I even came up with say at the beginning of the year, do a little, come up just like a cheap book bag from the dollar store and just put some materials in there. And if you know students who need those, you can give those students those book bags. The second remediation would be food. My school offers free breakfast for every student, and I know a lot of schools do that because it's known that breakfast is the most important meal of the day because that automatically sets them off for they're energized and they're ready to learn and they're ready to go in the classroom and they have a full belly, so they're ready to go, which isn't always good because you don't want those kids all full of energy all the time. Second is free lunch. Like I mentioned in some of my statistics, that free lunch is offered to 68% of students in South Carolina. And also this thing called snack packs. Our school does this, and I think it's really fun. On Fridays, students who have signed up for it and parents who have asked for it, they get peanut butter and crackers and just granola bars, stuff that they can take home for the weekend because you don't know what kind of snacks they have at home. Number 3, which was the peers, which this one was the easiest one for me to do because, like I said, your peers have a lot of influence on you, and when it comes to the teacher, you need to get to know your students on a personal level, and that would be holding a parent-teacher conference just so you can get that background knowledge of them. I'm not trying to stare straight at you, but you're right in front of me.
She's a great person to stare at.
I'm sorry. Okay. But you get to know them on a personal level. And we did this in our classroom, a mini series on bullying. Because also working with special needs kids, they're not always looked at as the normal kids. Because they're not. They're phenomenal. They're above average if you ask me. But mini series on bullying, just to tell them the importance of what you shouldn't do that and how you should report it. And also our school has the little scan things where you can report bullying anonymously. So you don't always have to get in the middle of it if you don't want to, and and teachers are considered a safe place. We do have to be that mediator if something is absolutely important. We have to take it to administration or guidance counselors. And last is anxiety and depression. Teachers can go out of their way just to find those coping methods that may work for them, like Dr. Stefanski is telling me to breathe. So that's one of the things that teachers can really get down to the nitty gritty and figure out things that may work for their kids, as in like maybe have bean bags or like a comfy zone in their classroom where those kids can go and just chillax for a second. So in conclusion, teachers should really take the time to get to know each and every one of their students so that they can make sure that their students' educational journey is a positive experience. We can do this by giving them options and working with them one-on-one to see what will work for them. The absolute best to see what will work for in the best interest of the student. And sometimes this includes critical thinking on behalf of the teacher, like thinking outside of the box. So the whole thing is teachers cannot control what background their students come from, but they can control what they are doing to help in the classroom. And I'm going to end you guys with a quote. We never know what battle our students may that's not the quote, but I'm going to read it anyways. We never know what battle our students may be undergoing. Teachers are put in place to not only educate, but to make their classrooms a safe place for students, no matter what they are going through. A student should come to school and feel happy to be there, and they should be excited to learn. And now I'm going to end with the quote. A teacher affects eternity, and he can never tell where his influence stops. So, wait, I'm not done.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, and he can never tell where his influence stops. So that just means to keep on pushing, keep on thinking outside of the box, and keep on changing those kids' lives.
Woo, woo.